Elections in the United Kingdom, Brexit, the economy and the future of the United Kingdom are all at stake. Hello, I'm Nawied and this is The Heat. Voters in the United Kingdom will go to the polls next month in what is considered one of the most important elections for the country in decades. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson hopes his Conservative Party wins a majority so he can push ahead and deliver Brexit. But Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, says it's time for, quote, real change, and he's offering a very different vision for Britain. For the latest on the election campaign and the issues, we are joined now from London by CGTN correspondent Nawied Jabarkhyl.
Well, Anne, and the deadline to register to vote for this election has now passed. And just to give you a sense of the numbers, since October 29th, when this election was first called, up until Monday this week, more than 3.2 million people have registered to vote at this election. Crucially, about 2 million of those are under the age of 35. Now, typically, that would be good news for the left-leaning Labour Party, but it's important to remember that not all of those who've registered to vote will actually get to vote. There could, for example, be duplicate applications among there. But it does show that people have been invigorated to take part in this election, what's being billed as a once-in-a-generation election. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, remember, said he was forced to call this election because he wanted to break the Brexit impasse in Parliament behind me, where he couldn't get his deal with the European Union through lawmakers here. And Brexit is really the key issue this time around. Make no mistake about that. Boris Johnson says his Conservative Party is the only one of the major parties offering to leave the European Union outright. He says if they win a majority, they'll bring his deal back here by Christmas with a view to leave by the end of January next year. That differs from the Labour Party, the main opposition, which says that it wants to strike a new deal with the European Union within 6 months if it wins, and then put that to the people in a public vote, in a referendum, along with the option to remain. But lots of shadows cast over that, particularly about whether it could strike a new deal with the European Union. And then you have the Liberal Democrats, another major national party, which says that it wants to stop Brexit altogether. But if you look at where that's going to lead, there still isn't any clarity on Brexit and how it's going to end up, especially if this election ends up in a hung parliament. Looking at what the parties are offering, the Labour Party is offering to radically transform this country. It says it wants to swing to the left with a more socialist outlook, promising to transform the economy, nationalise key industries like rail, mail and utilities like water as well. If they're offering to radically change things, the Tories, the Conservatives, are offering a bit more of the same, what they call a dynamic market economy, but they are promising more money for public spending, things like 50,000 new nurses or 20,000 police officers, although critics and opponents, key to remember, say that it's the Conservatives who've been in power since 2010 which have brought in the austerity that's largely led to public services being cut. But really that leads on to the final question, polling. Who's going to win this? Who's favourite to win this? At the moment, Boris Johnson, it's still his to lose. Some polls earlier this week said that his lead could be narrowing, but as we saw in 2015 and again in 2017 with UK elections, predicting these things is becoming a lot harder to do. But essentially, whatever the outcome, it could have a significant impact on the future of this country for generations to come. Nawied Jabarkhyl, CGTN, London.